Good morning. I'd like to introduce John Van Gessel from Air New Zealand. John has been very much in the forefront of the developments of ULD tagging and tracking in Air New Zealand. And today we're going to let John share with us some of the innovations that Air New Zealand has put into place in the last couple of years. So John, could you first of all start by giving me a brief update as to what NZ has actually achieved so far?
Right, thanks Bob. Yes, it's in New Zealand, of course, we're now into our second year with the BLE tagging program, and the first year was very much getting the readers set up across our network and then tagging the ULDs. For information, in New Zealand has around 6,000 ULDs. And so it's been quite a busy time in the first year anyway, getting the tags onto the units. We had some dedicated resource at that time, and we've got up to 90% of our structural units. The pallet tags only came in the last 6 months, and we have only achieved around 50% strike rate at this time. So that's really the housekeeping side. To take advantage of the system, you really have to have that infrastructure in place. So we're getting there, and it's a dynamic changing. I think we're on about the third or fourth version of the readers, and each time we get a new version, its capability increases on what it can achieve. So that's the first year. Now we're really only beginning to get into the exciting part now, which is getting the benefits from it. And the benefits to us were quite quick, but now with the density of ULDs tagged, it's become the staple for many areas in determining what units they have. So if we take the first screenshot that I provided, Bob, we can see Auckland Airport, and that was a snapshot I took at about 10 o'clock this morning, and it just tells me where around Auckland Airport there are the AKEs. There happened to be 373 on station, and you can see, if you look at them, there was 115 at an international baggage, and others are located around Auckland Airport. These are facts, not fiction, because they only read if they're there. And so our baggage loaders, our ramp people, and even obviously the cargo people, they can use either via a telephone app or via a tablet. They have the screenshot, where are they go and get them. It's not just the ULDs, we also have done quite a bit of trialling with other ground support equipment as well. So it enables more and more people to use this technology. So that's the beginning of the journey. It goes a lot further there. Did you want to ask something else?
Well, John, yeah, that would be my next question, which is, I mean, you guys have come a great distance already. So I think that the next question has to be, where to now for NZ and ULD tagging?
And I just repeat again, it is just the start of the journey for us. And so you have a whole lot of extra opportunities to expand on what we're doing. And I guess the next screenshot I'm going to show you is what actually happens when we let the techos get involved. We use the Power BI reporting tool, and particularly across the Air New Zealand domestic network, where we have a lot of readers and we have almost 95% strike rate with all the AKHs across our domestic network. We now use this almost as the only tool for managing AKHs. And we've got in excess of 1,000, we're probably 1,400 AKHs across our domestic network. And it's all done automatically. You no longer have to have a lot of human beings involved. Up to twice a day, we're getting reports about what is being done. The Power BI system, it draws the live core data. It then draws in passenger bookings for flights. It draws cargo bookings on flights, and it turns it around and it says, this afternoon, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, this is what our stock's going to be at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and so forth. And so it's sending out messages, giving out instructions to the operators in the field who are responsible. Please, on this flight, you have to put an extra 2 AKHs. On this flight, you're allowed to leave it empty. And so they get a management thing. It comes, these instructions are ongoing, and then twice a day, it puts a report together telling you how you've done. And the second screenshot I provided you is an output of what is being seen. And if you look at that, I've highlighted in the first, where you can see on the Auckland to Queenstown flight, they were instructed to load 3 AKHs. They actually only loaded 2, and so it was 1 short. And then it's telling them what their compliance rate is as the day progresses. And so you can see that on the Auckland to Invercargill route, it was 100% compliance. On the Auckland to Dunedin route, it was 71% compliance. And so this is an ongoing management, no humans involved, and people are being helped to do what needs to be done. And it takes away the pressure to saying that a station has to be exactly this many units, because to be honest, in the middle of the day, when you've got a lot of flights, you actually need more units than at the end of the day, and they're getting that sophisticated now that they can manage it in that way. So that's real live development that we're doing.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I think you're really sharing with us some amazing applications. Briefly, John, where to for Air New Zealand from here? Sounds like you're almost at the have some additional wish list items.
Yeah, we certainly have additional wish list items, and I'll refer to those. But for the benefit of the IULDG, it's also good to see what we're already finding out about our participation in IULDG and the value that is being added by BLE tracking. Again, this morning I just did a quick check of the system, and believe it or not, there's 42 Air New Zealand units outside our network at locations that we don't fly to right at this moment. And of interest, I mean, there's even one at Anchorage right at this moment. It should have been in Vancouver. But if we look at the screenshot that I provided on JFK, you can see that at a specific carrier in JFK, there are currently 6 of our units, 5 AKEs, 1 pallet. Of those 6 units, only 3 of them have been lugged. And so it gives me the opportunity now, because they're currently sitting there, and I think 4 of them are very recent, to correct that. So we can go in behind the scenes, we can talk to our ground handler, in this case it was San Francisco, and say you should have raised GH things, please raise them. So very positive information. The pallet, incidentally, was last reported in Perth in October 2018. It's only when I did this morning, I thought, now I wondered where that was. I now know that pallet is sitting in there. And through the core system, we can now get in contact and make arrangements to get those recovered and brought back. But again, as I said, 42 of those units are there today. The other screenshot I provided was Santiago in Chile. Again, right at this very moment, there are 6 of our units sitting in Santiago. We don't fly there. And in fact, we think all those units are sitting in Tahiti. They should have been sitting in Tahiti because that's where we took them to. And obviously, another carrier was a bit short and it felt the need to borrow those. So we can now work with them and say, that's not really what you should be doing, or we can have a luck arranged to facilitate the return of those. So again, real life today experiences of what is happening in the IULDG system from the benefit of BLE tracking.
John, amazing stuff. I think we're going to have to wrap it up now, and I'd like to say thank you very, very much for sharing the NZ experience. It's a real shame we won't have you in person in Montreal, but I think we've done the next best thing. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you, Bob.